Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of the NASCAR 25 Connor Zilisch Road to Glory series here on the channel as we take on Circuit of the Americas here this weekend, where the big question really is, can anybody beat Shane Van Gisbergen? Well, this was a road course where actually someone did beat Shane Van Gisbergen, of course, in 2025. That was Christopher Bell and actually several others, as Van Gisbergen, I can't remember where he finished in COTA in the spring. I think it was like 7th or 8th if I remember correctly. Maybe I could be completely off, but I felt like it was around that area. Nonetheless, we're Connor Zilisch, who's also just as good at road courses as SVG, so can we maybe use our road course talents to spice things up here with that number 88 as we kick things off here from qualifying? And I don't know what happened in a recent update. It seems like if you look in the bottom of the screen, yeah, the roof cam, the very bottom of the roof camera clips through the roof of the car, so that's just a very minor visual bug that hopefully they kind of fix, because it's really minor, it's not a big deal, but it's also like it shouldn't be there. It's a little bit annoying, so hopefully they do fix that going forward. Nonetheless, through these S's, of course, if you're in Formula 1, you're going to go to the right there, but no, we go to the left here in NASCAR now, and we go through this little chicane right here, through this left-hander. It's a really easy to cut the course type of situation right there, so we could very well get hit with a track penalty here today for cutting the corner, but overall, a really fun racetrack to drive ever since they changed the layout as we come through the final few corners here. Now through the sweeping left-hander, and then you've got one more 90-degree left corner, heavy braking zone here. We're going to brake a little bit before that white line, go down to second gear. You could get away with first, but we're going to get hard on the gas here on the exit of that final turn, past the DRS point, which we don't get in NASCAR. P12 at the line with the 137.237, so P12 not too disappointed with that, but I had at least hoped for a little bit better. SVG, Shane Van Gisbergen on pole position over Christopher Bell, William Byron, Elliott Briscoe, the top 5, and out rounding out the top 10 was the 71 of Michael McDowell, as you see the rest of your starting order. So us here in P12 feeling pretty confident going into this race. That's our best qualifying effort so far on the season, as you see Burt Myers actually in the field. Who thought to enter Burt Myers into a road course race? I really don't know, but nonetheless, we're ready to go racing here from Circuit of the Americas. Now, actually, the racing, they just raced there this past, of course, race in Formula 1. That was quite an interesting one to watch. Or not the past race, they went to Mexico last, so a couple races ago. But nonetheless, we're ready to show these guys up and show how proper racing looks here now in Circuit of the Americas. 24 laps of racing. We're sticking with the neutral setup, and we will have to be just kind of really looking for some opportunities into turn number 1. That's going to be a really good opportunity to make some passes here now as we get ready to roll. Green flag holding, it's out. We're racing here from Circuit of the Americas now alongside our trackhouse teammate of Ross Chastain. Actually, a bit of a slow start. The car did not really take off right there on into turn number 1. We're kind of forced to the right side of the track, so we're gonna have to just settle here on the outside now as we head off into turn number 1. And here we go, trying to make up some track position now to the outside of the 1 of Chastain and the Kubota Camaro, and it will be into the top 10 just like that, settling in behind the 71 Spire Camaro of Michael McDowell. Now, as you guys know, this is not the correct layout of COTA. I would love if they fix it, but I would imagine that's going to be a next game thing. But of course, this whole section right here is different from real life. It's the kind of old version before NASCAR came up basically with their own. So iRacing as well does have the corrected version. So maybe, you never know, maybe we'll get the corrected version as an update in NASCAR 25. That's just really wishful thinking. But hopefully, of course, NASCAR 26, of course, is going to be mandatory at that point to make sure they have the new one in the game, as well as we are now settling in behind that number 5 of Kyle Larson here on that HendrickCars.com Chevrolet. Now is Shane Van Gisbergen. He actually lost the lead on the opening lap to Christopher Bell, so that number 20 is now in front of this race here. Now as we're to the inside of this number 5 as we head down into the S's. This right here, these S's in a stock car are pretty lame compared to whipping or ripping through here in an F1 or any open wheel car, of course, but F1 with the downforce, it's so much much fun driving these S's. As stock car, you're just so slow and sliding around, which that's fun in its own, however. So, but there's nothing that quite beats the sensations of just ripping through there, flying at a high rate of speed in an F1 car, as we are now continuing to put some pressure on this number 5 of Kyle Larson. You can see we're sliding around a little bit in this Red Bull 87, got a little bit physical with the 5, not necessarily because I was trying to, just simply got loose, but nonetheless we clear Larson. We move ourselves up into the 9th position at this point. Now we can settle in again behind McDowell, who was able to also get past Larson a little bit earlier, and we've only got 5 laps of racing in stage 1, so we can make it on feel in both of the first 2 stages. Third stage, completely different situation. We will have to pit one time in that final stage here now, as we are slowly reeling in the 71 of Michael McDowell. The road course AI, although they're a little bit dank at times, their actual speed is so much stronger than any previous NASCAR game at any road course, and I love the fact that they are genuinely really difficult to beat, because I'm only running on 102 AI on the default setup, so if I was to run 105, we would need a full-blown custom setup. To the final lap here in stage number stage number 1. We're on the inside of the 71 of McDowell, getting a little bit of physicality there going between us. He gets to run off on that outside lane, and he will continue to go forward now as the 20 of Bell has led from start to finish basically here in stage number 1. He's got basically no pressure even from Shane Van Gisbergen now as we head off into the penultimate left-hander now, and Bell already out of the final turn. He will take the first and opening stage. We've got an opportunity to maybe look up the inside of the 71 here into the final turn, but we're just going to kind of keep things patient here. Just really didn't quite have the confidence in this 87 to dive up the inside there, so we'll end up P9 for Connor Zilisch in stage number 1. Kyle Larson, well, he rounds out the top 10. AJ Allmendinger just outside the top 10. Everybody's going to pit for tires and fuel. You see our left front specifically is really worn. This is a track that could highly benefit from being able to take left side tires, which is not a thing in the game. Unfortunately, you can only take the 2 right sides. But adjustment-wise, not looking to make any adjustments on the car. I mean, it felt good. It was really more of a driver issue of kind of the sliding around here as Buescher overtakes Briscoe in the pits. SVG P2 to Christopher Bell in P1. Bell was able to overtake SVG on the opening lap of stage 1. Can Shane Van Gisbergen repay the favor and re-overtake this 20 as we head off in towards turn 1 up the elevation now? And such a beautiful sight here when all these race cars head down into turn 1 at Circuit of the Americas now. We'll dive up the inside, even up the inside of the 17 of Chris Buescher, and Briscoe over there to the right side will end up 2 wide, but we gain a few positions and up to P7 now on the left side of the 17. Chris Buescher, one of the most underrated road course drivers in all of NASCAR. He was able to find victory lane, I think, mid-Ohio back in the Xfinity days in like 2015 or 2016, whatever year it was, and of course he would go on to finally win a cup race at a road course at Watkins Glen in 2024, and I would go on to find the back bumper of Chris Buescher. Caves in the front bumper. We're gonna have to make some repairs for sure at the end of stage 2, but a big mistake on my part right there. I mean, there was just such a massive stack up right there that I wasn't really prepared for, as now the 19 is in front of the 9, who's in front of the 17 as we continue to lean on the back of Buescher. Now he kind of finds himself vulnerable. We'll go up the inside here, wheel to wheel, and can we clear him on the exit? Yes, we can. Now up into P6 here as we head towards the long sweeping carousel now, and now to lap 2 through the S's. You do notice as well in the top left we've got 1 extra lap of racing here in stage 2, 6 laps to be exact now, as Shane Van Gisbergen had taken the lead back from Christopher Bell at this point, so he is now in control of this race here now. But stage 3 is really where it's going to get interesting, because green flag pit stops in this game, that's such an interesting thing in this game, because it really shakes up the running order, because fresh tires have a really big advantage, and therefore I think really this race isn't going to be decided on who's got the pace right now. It's going to be decided on who has the best strategy in this race here as we come towards the halfway point of stage 2 at this point. I'm continuing to, kind of eat into the gap of Chase Elliott right here, but I felt like, maybe we can have even a top 3 car if we kind of keep playing our cards right. We're not watching the leaders drive away like we did in stage 1. You still see SVG and Bell right there in front of us. SVG rounding the final turn right now, so we're not that far off here in COTA, so I'm feeling pretty confident as we continue to just get a little bit closer to this number 9 of Chase Elliott with 3 laps to go in stage number 2. Now to 2 to go here, lap 5 of 6, and we have gotten within a few car lengths of this number 9 car until that right there. I would get a corner cut right there. I tried to pull over to not make everybody stop behind me. I felt like I did a pretty good job. It's basically a stop and go penalty. You have to stop for 2 seconds, 3 seconds, and then you finally get back going. And now we have basically thrown stage 2 away here, as we are now under pressure from Larson and Reddick, as well as who's that, Ty Gibbs behind us here, as we're to the left rear of this number 5 as we continue through the corner and just completely throwing away a really strong run that we were having in the second stage. And now we're fighting to just hang on to a stage point here. Now on the inside of the 45, bit of contact right here on the exit of the corner. Now we're getting really physical as we approach the final lap in stage number 2. Around the outside, Reddick goes through on the inside and we'll settle in behind him, but now looking for a move up the inside into the final turn. And look at this, a big power move will clear the number 45 on the exit of the corner, but we lose grip. We've spun round, self-spin on the exit of the final turn, and we've made matters worse. We drop outside of the top 10, and now I am embarrassing Connor Zilisch here in COTA, because we start the final lap and we were looking for a top 5 in stage 2. Now we're trying to hang on to a top 15 in the second stage now, as we're behind Logano, and at this point I am just driving over my head because now I'm frustrated and I lean right on the back of the 16 of AJ Allmendinger. We'll pass him hopefully here through the S's, and then we just have to kind of, calm down, settle back in, and kind of hit the reset button basically, and get our bearings straight for kind of just get ourselves back in order for that final stage. But now through the final few corners, it's Van Gisbergen that won stage 2, and we would get to the back of the 12 of Blaney, but we're going to end up 13th here in stage 2. Not, of course, where I expected to be, and we're going to go into this final stage on a mission. We're going to take 4 tires, we're going to take fuel, we're going to also get some repairs to the front end of this car. You see the aero is down to 95% condition. It's going to take a couple of seconds to repair, so we are going to lose some track position, but I think we can utilize 2 things, of course. Our road course expertise, which didn't look pretty there at the end of stage 2, to go forward though, and then we can also use maybe some strategy, pitting a little bit on the earlier side of the run. I don't know, it really depends on how things are going. We can maybe run a little bit long in stage 3. Nonetheless, the green flag's back out. It's going to be 13 laps of racing here in this third and final stage. Bubba Wallace to my inside. We're on the back of the 2 of Austin Cindric. Actually, a big gap between Wallace and the cars in front. I take the opportunity, dive up the inside of Chastain, 3, maybe even 4 wide on the exit of turn 1. We are 4 wide. That's a Circuit of the Americas restart with NASCAR right there. Nonetheless, into P13 now, leaning on the left rear Kubota quarter panel as we go into the S's. Chastain's going to stay clear. Kind of, did my teammate a bit of a favor right there. Decided to not really force the issue. Christopher Bell has retaken the lead from Van Gisbergen, so it seems like whoever's on the outside of the front row into turn 1 actually has the advantage here, as Chastain is, I thought he was going to pass Blaney, but he kind of checked up right there, and now he's going to continue side by side with the Menards number 12 here into the left-hander. Here comes Allmendinger to my right side as well. What a move that I really did not see coming right there, and now we'll continue side by side as Allmendinger's going to get through. Can we maybe do a bit of a switchback on him? Yes, we can, but I'm slipping and sliding, so I couldn't really execute it now as Allmendinger's trying to look up the inside of Chastain. I'm going to look up the inside of Allmendinger instead. I mean, we are getting so physical. The racing is fantastic here from COTA. We are continuing to bang doors, go side by side. Allmendinger's going to re-clear us again. I'm going to try and cross him back over here as we go through the carousel now to the right side. And Allmendinger, do we clear him into that penultimate corner? I'm going to make sure of it. Drove in there a little bit deep, still make the apex in the corner, so we're in good shape there. We're back into P13 as we come to complete this first and opening lap of stage 2, which was basically chaos from start to finish. 4 wide turn 1, beating and banging with some drivers, and now we can kind of settle in here at this point now behind Chastain. And look at this, Blaney with a bit of a checkup now in lap 13 brings Chastain back into the conversation. I think I can get at least one of these guys right here in the next couple of corners, and now I don't have AJ Allmendinger to worry about. Chastain's going to be the one I think we're going to get, but he's going to maybe show the nose on Blaney. No, he's going to stay in behind that 12, so this is going to open the door for me to go around the outside. This is a really good opportunity right here. You can really carry some momentum and get yourself back clear of whoever's on your right side. Now as we come through the left-hander, now we clear the one of Ross Chastain. Got a little bit physical there even with our Trackhouse teammate, but now lap 14 into turn 1. Blaney doesn't defend. We dive up the inside here. We'll get down to first gear here and just about making contact with him, but we do clear him for P11. Next up, the 54, Ty Gibbs. We continue to go forward here. The pit window is really not far from being open at this point now. Basically, I think you kind of want to, pit with 7-8 laps to go. Basically, if you pit with 8 to go, you can make it. Even 9 to go, you might be able to stretch it, but you'd be cutting it close at that point. So I'm looking at kind of a 7-6 lap to go window of when I want to come into the pits and, of course, come and get tires and fuel and whatnot. We come to 10 laps to go at this point here, and we got ourselves in a continuous gain on the cars in front. But obviously, I mean, we're still making up for the ground that I gave up in stage 2 in those final couple of laps. So not the situation I really had hoped to be in. I was hoping at this point in stage 3 to be in the top 3 or 4, and instead we're still trying to, claw our way into the top 10. So now as we come to lap 17, at this point I would argue we're in the fuel window. So if anyone pits now, they should be able to make it to the end of this race. I don't know why I wasn't showing the fuel on the screen, but basically you can go about 7 or so laps, and you can maybe stretch it another lap further than that, as now give up a bunch of time to Gibbs because of a bit of a slide there on the exit of the left-hander. So now all the time I just gained on him is kind of gone and vanished. So now we got to go back up there. Now here we go, end of lap 17. We got cars pitting, so I see all those cars pitting. I say I'm going to stay out at least one more lap then. So Gibbs is in, but we've got a bunch of drivers. I mean, once that group had pitted, we were up into P5, and then I would pit a lap later, coming to lap 18, approaching lap 19, and we're going to come in to make our pit stop. Now Chastain's actually going an extra lap here, so we're going to come in, we're going to get 4 tires, we're going to get fuel, and just push hard. Now I'm going to be interested to see how much that 1 lap difference of those guys pitting earlier than us is going to make. There goes Christopher Bell, there goes Chase Briscoe, William Byron, Shane Van Gisbergen should be coming up on those guys at some point, but there I see the white blob of Van Gisbergen. I don't think he's going to be leading. I think he's going to be P2 behind the 20 of Christopher Bell, but we still have to wait and see how things play out here. So we're going to come out behind Reddick and Gibbs, but we're a lot closer to Gibbs now than we were, and actually got into the side of him right there, as we've got some drivers that are still not pitted. Chastain, Elio Castroneves, for example, a Trackhouse teammate there part-time, of course, now as well. The 66, I think, is still on the racetrack, and I'm not even sure who drives that car at this point now, as we continue to work our way forward. So we are going to have to pass Tyler Reddick straight up, which just became a lot easier because he completely missed the apex, and now we're going to be right on the back of this 45 Jordan Toyota Camry. Chastain should be pitting this lap. We should be able to pass him because we've got those fresher tires as we're coming to 5 laps to go. There you see that 66 up there in the way as we're right to the back of the 45. Do we dive up the inside? He leaves it open. We take it now, as sure enough Chastain is coming into the pits here now as we continue to clear the 45. We've got 2 guaranteed spots coming, I think, of the 1 and the 66. That'll put us into the top 10, but we're right to the back of the 71 of McDowell, but I go a little bit wide, and that allows Reddick to come back up my left side here. Chase Elliott's way wide now, but he's actually able to hold his own, as same as Reddick's holding his own there on my left side, but now we clear him, and now we try to get to the back of the 71 of McDowell. Now here comes Reddick to look at my inside. Now I'm diving up the inside of the 71. There's so much going on at the road courses in this game, as we would pass the 66 there. That's Josh Balicki. So we move up into P9 after all is said and done, but hold on, we dive up the inside of the 9 of Chase Elliott, leaning just about on him. We'll clear him on the exit of the corner. Not quite. No, Elliott's going to stay back on my inside. John Hunter Nemechek in the 42. He is actually still yet to pit. I am shocked he has stretched his field that far, as he will still have to pit. That'll put us into P6 as we clear Elliott into the S's. I kind of forced it, but we do make it happen. So next up, the 42 of Nemechek would pit and give up the lead and give up a bunch of track position, moving us up into P6 as we were coming to 2 laps to go. At this point now, Christopher Bell is in control of this race, and I think it's going to stay that way now, as I don't... how about Shane Van Gisbergen's actually dropped to 4th. So Van Gisbergen has gone in the wrong direction. I don't know, maybe if he lost some track position when they were trying to get around the 42 of John Hunter Nemechek, because we kind of saw the AI get a little bit weird when they're trying to pass some slower cars at the road courses, and really benefited myself. But I mean, we've got no pressure from behind. We've got obviously no chance of running anybody down in front of us. It seems like there's no AI crashes at road courses, unfortunately. So yeah, I mean, once everything kind of settles down, that's pretty well it, and you're kind of where you are at that point. And we come to the final lap of this race now, and I mean, we were up in P6 earlier, we self-crashed, and we had a corner cutting penalty that we had to serve with the stop and go, and we dropped all the way down to like 17th at one point, and through strategy and through just outright pace, we at least recovered Connor Zilisch's number 87 up into P6. Now Christopher Bell is in complete control. He's got just a handful of corners to go, and he will be a first-time winner of this season as Chase Elliott continues to try and put some pressure on us, but he's a little bit too far back. Just 2 more corners for the number 20 DeWalt Camry to go. Christopher Bell rounds the penultimate turn. Down the little short chute he goes towards that final left-hander, and Christopher Bell, sure enough, will hang on, and not even from the pressure from SVG, who's down in 4th. Christopher Bell comes through to win in Circuit of the Americas as we round the penultimate corner ourselves, head down into the final turn, and it's going to be P6 here for Connor Zilisch in the number 87 in this Connor Zilisch Road to Glory series, and really just a strong showing here. Definitely expected better, and I think as we continue to go to the road courses, I continue to expect more from myself. But yeah, I mean, how about William Byron and Briscoe, who beat Shane Van Gisbergen, as you see the rest of your finishing order. Larson down in 14th over Bowman. Rounding out the top 20 was Daniel Suarez, our teammate there, of course, at Trackhouse. Rounding out the top 30 was Bush and Priest. Hamlin in 31st. Denny Hamlin is like outside of the top 30 in points, by the way. He has had a horrible first 3 races. Hamlin, of course, not that great on road courses, but I think the game did him a bit dirty. He ain't that bad on road courses. So you see the points. We're P11 as Bell is up top of the standing. I don't know what the heck I was doing right there, but it's Bell, McDowell, and Kyle Busch. Your 3 winners so far. 2 of those drivers, I would say, are not expected to win right now. McDowell and Busch. Van Gisbergen P8 in the standings, and as you can see, as we go down further and further, there's no sign of Denny Hamlin. You got to keep on going and going. Hold on. Is he in the top 30? No, he is in 38th in the standings. That is pretty bad. We'll see if he can recover going into Phoenix, where we expect to see Hamlin run well. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.